Vacation is supposed to be a break. So why does it feel like emotional survival mode when you're parenting an intense or highly sensitive child? If you're dreading the meltdowns, the messes, the mayhem of taking a child who's often emotionally dysregulated on vacation, well, this episode's for you. It will be your roadmap to more calm, connection, and maybe even a little family fun. So grab your favorite summer drink, your sense of humor, and let's get started. Welcome to Calm Connection Parenting. I'm your host, Jamie Kirkbride, mom of 7, parenting coach, professional counselor, and wrangler of big emotions. If you're raising a highly sensitive child with intense emotions or challenging behaviors and wondering if you'll make it through without losing your mind, you're not alone. Around here, we're all about real-life parenting, sprinkled with a little humor and a whole lot of patience. So grab your coffee, trust me, you'll need it, and join me as we explore tips, stories, and faith-based strategies to help you bring more calm and confidence into your chaotic days. Let's do this. Have you ever had that moment where you're finally packed, finally loaded into the car, and just a few miles down the road, but you're already bracing for that first meltdown? Yep, family vacations with an emotionally intense or highly sensitive child can feel anything but relaxing. Maybe your child struggles with transitions, meltdowns when plans change, or just can't handle the sensory overload of travel, new places, siblings touching them in the car, or smelly restaurants. You want to make the memories, but sometimes it feels like you're just walking on eggshells, hoping you can manage the meltdowns and the messes that you know are inevitable. Maybe you've given up on taking vacations or even going on day outings altogether. Well, let's change that. It doesn't have to be that way. In today's episode, we're diving into what it really looks like to travel or go on these outings with a dysregulated child, and how to plan, prepare, and parent in a way that can bring more peace and connection, even when you know that things might get messy. Because here's the truth. The goal isn't a meltdown-free vacation. It's a connected one where your family can go do things together, experience things, and even grow closer in the process. So whether you're heading out for a weekend getaway, a road trip with the whole crew, or just trying to gear up for some summer break adventures, this episode is packed with practical tips, mindset shifts, and family-tested hacks to help you create those moments of calm and connection so you can feel more confident even on the go. Let's be honest, vacations are supposed to be fun. But when you're parenting a child who's emotionally intense, highly sensitive, or prone to dysregulation, the word vacation can create some anxiety and maybe even make your palms sweat and can feel a little bit like a nasty setup. Why is it so hard? Well, it's not just the change in routine. It's the unfamiliar places, the new smells, the noises, different beds, long car rides, maybe airplane travel, restaurant waits, sibling overload. In short, maybe just the overstimulation and the sheer unpredictability of it all. And for intense kiddos, highly sensitive kiddos, unpredictability is often their kryptonite. When you take a child who thrives on structure and control and drop them into flexible, fluid vacation environment, it can feel like a recipe for daily meltdowns. And guess what? Even your more compliant kiddos, the ones who usually go with the flow, can start to unravel under the pressure of constantly adjusting for a sibling who's struggling. That's why it's so important to plan ahead, not just logistically, but maybe even more importantly, emotionally. And that's where we're going today. Kind of takes some reframing of vacation success. So let's set the record straight right now with these three very important thoughts. First of all, a meltdown doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. Second, a quiet car ride doesn't necessarily mean that your child is calm inside. They may be working hard just to hold it together, and you might not have any idea. And third, a successful vacation isn't about simple, smooth sailing. It's really more about how you anchor your family through the waves. You don't need a picture-perfect trip. Maybe it's more worthwhile to focus on your presence. You need to be able to say, hey, I see you're having a hard time, and I'm here with you. Or, I understand what you need. How can I make it easier? Because the real goal of family vacation isn't perfection. It's more along the lines of connection. So I want to share with you some top 5 vacation hacks for children with emotional dysregulation struggles. Now, these are going to be practical. These are tools I've used myself with our own family and our own highly emotional child, and same kind of tips that I coach parents through inside my Calm Connection coaching program. So first off, pre-vacation connection. Before you go, have that intentional check-in. Let your child know what's coming. Give them some choices. Ask them what might be hard for them. If they're old enough, involve them in picking a fun activity or a restaurant. Building the groundwork for acceptance and cooperation starts early. In fact, I usually recommend that you have a family huddle. Yes, just like a team would communicate about their game plan and get everyone on the same page and cover those bases, you can do it as a family too. This increases a child's buy-in. It helps their brains prepare for what's to come, and it allows them the chance to voice what might be a concern or a worry about the plan. It might be something you hadn't even thought of, or something that is quite simple to remedy. It allows you to think ahead of time about what you might need to do to offer supports to them. And these supports might be what makes all the difference in how your vacation unfolds. So trust me, it's well worth the time. And you might even bump up that one-on-one time that can build connection prior to your trip. This can help increase that sense of teamwork, the cooperation, as well as help them feel supported and understood. Number 2, visual and predictable plans. For example, we used to pack our kids' clothes by the day, and each day was a different color, like orange day, fluorescent yellow day, teal day, black day, etc. Then, when we needed to pull clothes for the following day, it was easy to know what to expect and what to look for. Also, when those same clothes were randomly found in the car or in the hotel room, we knew if they were clean or dirty if we'd already had that color day. And this is a biggie, it limited those clothing battles. There's no reason to battle at the start of every day. After all, if you've just announced that it's Orange Day, the chances of wanting to wear that blue shirt is less likely. And you've planned this while you're still at home. They know what their Orange Day shirt is going to be. Likewise, visual schedules, agendas, or checklists can also help you communicate what the plan is ahead of time. So even on the trip, at bedtime, you could cover what the next day's activities or meal options might be. Especially helpful if you have a child who needs some time to prepare, to accept the plan, or to work through some things that they're worried about. No, you don't have to plan every minute, but a sense of predictability can help your child feel safe. And knowing ahead of time can give them time to talk through or work through those things that concern them. It also starts to teach them how to communicate their needs calmly and that you are available to offer some help if needed. And it gives you time to figure out what supports or tools might be needed to make your day and your whole trip more successful. Maybe you're a little confused about the kind of adjustments or even the supports that your child might need. Maybe you're even confused about what can be effective at home, let alone out and about on vacation. Don't you worry, I've got you. And you might enjoy this, a coaching group that is starting soon. Parenting a uniquely wired child can feel isolating, right? While other parents are talking about typical tantrums and bedtime battles, you're navigating emotional meltdowns, sensory overload, or challenging behaviors that many people just don't understand. It can be frustrating when the advice you hear just doesn't fit your child, and even harder when you feel like you're alone in the journey. But here's the truth. You don't have to settle for just surviving. In the Calm Connection Parent Coaching Program, I'll help you understand your child's unique wiring and give you faith-based practical strategies to not only manage the emotions and challenging behaviors, but actually help your whole family thrive. With video course, workbooks, a supportive community, and weekly coaching calls, you'll get personalized support every step of the way. If you're ready to stop feeling alone and start finding real solutions that work for you, your child, and your family, then visit calmconnectionparent.com to learn more. Together, let's move you from surviving to thriving. Let's do this. So we've covered pre-vacation connection and visual and predictable plans. So let's move on to number 3, the morning check-in. I'm telling you, this one's gold. Each morning on vacation, I would encourage you to spend even just 2 minutes one-on-one and ask your emotionally intense or highly sensitive child this question. What can I do to help you today? It opens the door before things go sideways, before you're trying to deal with that emotional dysregulation. You'll be amazed how far that little bit of proactive connection really goes, and it builds that teamwork. As your child begins to understand that you're there to help and support them, they may start to communicate some of those things that they were struggling with internally, which would then cause them to have those quick trigger responses and emotional dysregulation. It's essentially like letting a little steam out of the pressure cooker before it blows. Your child will begin to feel like you're a team with them, and you can remind them of that. You might say something like, hey, I know being away from home can feel hard. And I know that even though you like doing things, that being away from what you usually have might be difficult, but you're doing a really good job. Is there anything I can do to make today feel easier? Maybe they need a little quiet time just to watch their favorite cartoon. Maybe they need a little bit of time away from siblings, just a little breather. Maybe waiting in the restaurant is getting really frustrating. Maybe sitting outside for a few minutes while they wait would be helpful. You might be surprised at the small little requests, those small things that can make it easier for your child. Number 4, positive behavior traditions. Yes, putting as much attention in time into praising the good than noticing the bad. Actually, even more time, putting more time into noticing the good and praising that. I encourage you to create systems that highlight what's going well. Science supports the theory that we prep our brains. When we are looking for what is going well, we see more of what's going well. Are you prepping your brain to see the wins or the struggles? We've done this by giving fun little awards. Now, the awards aren't really any gift. It's just being called something as your reward. It kind of builds that intrinsic feeling of, wow, I'm doing a good job. But it doesn't have to be an item. It doesn't have to be a material thing, but just the intrinsic reward of doing well and building that character. We've done things like Good Writer Awards, and maybe at the next stop, they get to choose what the restaurant is, or maybe they get to choose what song goes on the radio. It might be something small like that, or it might just be a character award, such as you get to be known as the handy helper or the patient waiter. We have even given turnaround awards. Now, these come in handy when you're dealing with a highly sensitive or emotionally intense child. The turnaround awards are for those tough moments that may have been moving in a terrible direction that a child was able to turn things around and do better. It shifts the focus toward effort, growth, and trying again. They need to feel some success in regrouping, even if things do get off the track. And they will benefit from seeing that you are able to appreciate that too. Believe it or not, your child likely feels something about their behavior or emotions, and it's usually not positive. When these feelings continue to just kind of tumble and rumble in their brains, they can begin to feel some pretty intense shame, and even for some kids, some self-hate. No child will ever behave better when they feel worse inside. So I encourage you to be perceptive to their need to hear that you have grace and you can help them get back on track when things go bad. And that's why I love the Turnaround Award. Again, it helps show teamwork. Number 5, expect the meltdown, then model the recovery. Don't pack shame, pack patience. You're going to hit bumps on vacation. It's okay. You are taking a highly sensitive, emotionally intense child out of what is usually a little more predictable, steady space into who knows what. You're both going to feel some anxiety, some stress, and have an emotional response. For a child who is often emotionally dysregulated, they are likely not just going to drop that as the door as they leave. Remember, it's part of their wiring, and they're still learning. So don't set unrealistic expectations that there will be no meltdowns. Instead, expect that they will happen. What matters is how you recover as a family. When we can co-regulate and reset together, our kids learn that hard moments don't ruin everything. They can be redeemed. And honestly, as you start working through these meltdowns, as you start developing that teamwork, there will be fewer meltdowns. Your child will learn how to communicate differently. Your child will learn to trust that you are there to help and support them. And as we show grace, others in our family learn to show grace. And a child who is emotionally intense and highly sensitive will always learn more and function better in a space that's full of grace. And that's what we want for our families, to be a place where we can learn and grow even in the rough times. So what do you do in the middle of a meltdown? Well, here's where your calm becomes contagious. When your child starts to spiral, try these 4 C's. C number 1, connect. Before you correct, get low, make eye contact, and offer your help. Number 2, co-regulate. Use your quiet, grounded tone and emotions and very few words. 3, communicate safety. Remember to let them know you're not in trouble, you're having a hard time, I'm here. 4, circle back later. When it's past, it may even need to be many hours later. You can gently revisit then what worked and maybe what you need to do different next time, all while staying calm. And if you begin to revisit it and it isn't going well, just let it go. It might only be serving as a trigger to try to talk through it or process it. So you might need to be willing just to simply move on and hope that each time you go through it, they will learn something from it. Now, just a little side note, during this vacation, please don't forget your middleman kid. You know, the one who's constantly adjusting for the more intense sibling. Watch for their signals too. They need connection as well, even if they're not asking for it loudly. Quietly notice those ways that they give, they flex, they forgive. and just help them feel seen and appreciated. Now, not in a loud way, as this could be a trigger for your highly intense emotional child, but quietly notice this child. You might even find those times you can give them that small compliment or just a little reward for that. You can even teach your kiddos how to do a check-in with you. One of mine would flash a thumb signal. Thumbs up, all was good. Thumbs down, trouble. Thumb in the middle, they're needing some help before things go wrong. Or he might sometimes say, Mom, I think I'm in the red. And that was our code for, I'm overstimulated, I need help before I explode. You know, all of these tools we've talked about today, they don't just work on vacation. They're actually part of the bigger framework that I teach inside the Calm Connection Parent Coaching Program, where we help you go from reacting to responding, and from surviving to connecting and thriving. If you're feeling like you're walking on eggshells around your child's emotions, worn out from trying strategies that just don't work for your uniquely wired kiddo, I want you to know there is a better way. One that helps you understand the why behind your child's meltdowns, gives you tools to stay calm in the chaos, and brings real connection back to you and your child and your entire family. The Calm Connection Coaching Program is starting soon, and it's your opportunity to get the support, the tools, the faith-aligned guidance that you've been looking for. Inside the program, you learn how to decode your child's behaviors without shame or crazy guesswork, how to stay grounded during those emotional storms instead of getting pulled right in. You learn how to build real connection using the iHeart framework, and you learn how to create calm routines that work for your emotionally intense, highly sensitive kids. And you learn how to feel confident, equipped, and empowered, not alone, in your parenting journey. Now, this isn't just a quick fix. It's lasting change, a true transformation with coaching, community, and real-life tools that are practical and actually work. So don't miss out. A new group is forming now, and I'd love to walk this journey with you. To learn more and save your spot, visit calmconnectionparent.com. Again, that's calmconnectionparent.com. You and your child don't need to keep surviving. Let's build something better together. Now, as we wrap up today's show, if vacation feels like a stress test that you never signed up for, you're not alone. But with a plan, a few adjustments, and some intentional connection, you really can make family outings and family travels something that brings you closer instead of tearing you apart. Your vacation doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. The meltdowns, the missed turns, the messy meals, they're all a part of the story. And your presence, your steady, loving presence, is what will make it memorable. This week, whether you're planning a trip, just got back from a trip, or are still recovering from last year's trip, remember, you can create calm. You can build connection, and you're not doing it alone. Until next time, remember, keep calm. You've got this. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Just remember, you've got this. And on the days you don't, well, we're in this together. Take a deep breath and keep building those heart-to-heart connections. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend who might need it too. And don't forget to connect with us at parentingwithpersonality.com or in our Parenting with Personality Facebook support group. We'd love to continue supporting you there. Until next time, keep calm and parent on.